Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos, as well as CirclingSpace.com. And today, Tiffany Harlick is with me. Yay! Thank you for coming, Tiffany. And we are going to give you your January 2022 forecast, and it's feeling pretty good, right, Tiffany?
I think
Okay.
so.
It's feeling pretty good. It's a good segue into the new year. If you want to get your forecast for an overview of all of 2022, we've already created that for you, and the link is below, as well as all sorts of links to get in touch with Tiffany. Tiffany, I'm going to do a little intro for you here. Tiffany is the owner of Spellbound Publishing, and she's published lots of books herself, including some really yummy cookbooks. And she is also the creator of wiseskiescollective.com. You'll find both of those links below. The Wise Skies Collective is where you can go for all things astrological. Tiffany is not only an astrologer, she is also a psychic medium, and it runs deep in her Russian lineage. She's from the great state of Texas, and she is a Scorpio moon, Scorpio sun, and a Sagittarius rising, which makes her a lot of fun. And we have a lot of laughs here, so hang around with us, and we're going to look at what 2022 has to offer in this very first month. So, Tiffany, thank you for joining us.
You're so welcome. I'm so glad to be here. And I'm excited to be talking about January. It feels unreal, like we made it. Here we are.
Well, you and I aren't there yet as we record this, but you guys, if we're still around when you see this, and we made it.
Yeah. Well, so January, it feels really fresh. I would say a couple of themes you could work with in your homes and in your hearts and in your lives would be really about earth magic.
Earth magic.
It's not, and there's like this sensitivity to it. There's this receptivity to it. And there's a lot of like an introspective flair to it, and when I think about earth magic, I think about grounding. I think about things feeling centered. I think about the magic of crystals and being rooted, with trees and plants. You can see I'm a crazy plant lady. Even my daughter
I love that about you.
plant lady mug. But the idea here is that there are some really positive shifts going on, and one way you can align with that is just by being in the darkness and the stillness, and that's where the earth magic is, in that dark, fertile soil.
Yeah, and
So
as you say that, as you say earth magic, I'm also thinking of just what we sometimes lose in childhood, all that connection to magical realms from
mhm,
earth. Like you said, like the crystals then give it a higher vibration,
mhm.
right? And just all that. I'm just getting like this elven magic too. I used to go in the woods, and build things and make things, and that just feels really, really good. So like the little
Well,
magic and also
totally. All the Christmas lore from the old Christmas magic include witches and ghosts and elves and fairies, right? So there is a lot of that elemental kind of vibe to things. And I'm like you, like I played in the woods as a kid, and our trees were spaceships and teepees and all kinds of things that we made our trees into.
right, right. So that feels good because when you said it feels sweet, soft. That magic has that childlike flair to me as you were talking about it.
And there's a quietness to it. So that does play into the numerology. So first of all, the year shifts. 2022 is a 6 year in numerology, but January is a 7. So you're working with the energy of 7 this month and 6 all around. And so what that looks like to me, 7 is really about self-study and wisdom and the owl and self-reflection and
Yeah.
introspection.
Yeah.
It looks like reading a good book, right? It looks like catching up on your favorite YouTube channel, right? It looks like studying something, but not really. It's kind of like that effortless truth seeking thing going on. You know what I mean? It's finding a good lyric in a song. We were talking about finding your inner Stevie Nicks for 2022, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe there's a musician that you align with, that you want to just kind of bring into your world and look at the lyrics. What's a song that you haven't really looked at the lyrics, but you kind of know all the words to? That is another way to play with the numerology. Sometimes people feel really antisocial with that 7, and that's okay. So if you're feeling a little bit unplugged or detached, just know that that might be part of the ride. It's hard sometimes to say no when our culture or our families or our jobs need stuff from us, right? And so we really want to be careful about not overriding our no if we're needing a little alone time or downtime. What are some ways that we can not override our yeses and nos, right? So just being even aware of that, or being aware that you're in a transition of like, oops, I got myself into this wishy-washy thing and I actually really just need some more downtime. Like just being aware of that can be helpful. So, and that's the numerology. I have your best days and watch out caution days.
Let's wait. Let's hold those off. I like that. You can hint at them when you go through the events, and let's hold them for the end.
Okay, all right. I'll hold them for the very end then. And that'll be like our crystal treasure trove will open. So as we start out January, right, Venus is retrograde. And the other cool thing is that on the 1st, the sun will trine Uranus. And so to me, that is a happy new year. That is sparks flying. That is inspiration. That is, like words hitting at a moment that heals and changes everything. It is a time when just anything can happen, just anything goes. So I love that we get the new year starting out with some really positive, and I would say both of those are kind of more masculine energy. They're more like there's like
sunshine, it's solar plexus. But there is I still holding on to your sweetness. It's still for me. I'm just feeling like this. I'm seeing a sunrise and a chorus like, oh. So it does have a masculine. It is the sun, and it's permission. It's opening the gateway and action and all that. But it also has this softness, like I'm hearing a choir and this.
Yeah, I really like that imagery. That's beautiful. And right behind that, on January 2nd, we get a new moon in 12 degrees of Capricorn. Capricorn, I feel like, is one of the most misunderstood signs because it's like, oh, let's talk about ambition and work. Well, I mean, just because that's what we've been conditioned to talk about. Capricorn has that mountain goat aspect to it, but that's rugged. That is not, and it is natural, and it is like Duluth Trading Company. You know what I mean? But it's also got that sea goat, that undertone that is magical and mystical and alchemical and synchronicity. And
there we are. We're back to that earth magic again. I love how the themes keep coming back. That happened a lot in 2022 report too. I love it.
Yes, there is that, like, that newness, that freshness. We've got, there's a certain excitement, maybe I will stay up this year. I usually go to bed so early, right? But that on January 2nd, that new moon, if you're looking for that positive anchor, man, that's a great thing to get into.
And the intentions for that would be really good intentions. Just that would be Capricorn
related things, right?
Get things done. The goat climbing the mountain. What are your goals? I mean, that's what we often do in the new year too. So that sounds like our goals are a little more propelled on this.
I think so. Yeah. And I also think it's like, where do you want to make a commitment? And because Venus is retrograde in Capricorn at this time, we're reconsidering things. I mean, it's like the runway is getting shorter, right? We're getting older. Everybody, all of us is, right? All of us are. And so it's not like a point.
The runway is getting shorter. Okay.
Well, it is, right?
Oh God, I just have to open a t-shirt shop with all your. Try to say that, a t-shirt shop with all things. Okay.
So, the new moon in Capricorn, while Venus is retrograde in Capricorn, I think we are going to have some different ideas about what we want our future to look like, and how we want to experience financial security and love. Different things look sexy right at that time. And so
is it a good time? You're saying this is a good time to commit if you're feeling it, or?
Well, I think it's
a good time because Venus is re-looking at everything.
I mean, Venus retrograde is so tricky. Should you get married during Venus retrograde? The typical answer is no.
But I have friends that one thing you said to me, right? If you're coming back and you've learned and grown.
Yeah, if it's a second marriage, maybe that's the perfect time, right? And so it's so individual. But the idea is that you're reviewing and looking at things differently with a different lens in terms of love and money. And
Nice.
so with that new moon there, it's really helpful. It's like, thank God for my greatest teacher relationship. You know what I mean? Thank God for my greatest teacher financial budget spreadsheet. You know what I mean? Like, let's face it, right? And move forward. So what is it that you want to renew with things, Capricorn? Your public identity, your job, yes, but there's other things that might be juicier to look at. It's, you know, so that's the second. Now on the second, in addition to that new moon, Mercury is going to enter Aquarius. So Mercury, the planet that is kind of like the pupil, right? The communicator, the thinker, the brother and sister.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one that rules our brains, our learning, the way that we think, the way that we understand things. And so there's like this lunar reset and this mercurial reset going on at the same time. Mercury will be in Aquarius through January 26th, so most of the month. Okay. And it will retrograde. So things are starting to get kind of like, okay, cool. So we've got Venus and Mercury in that hazy place. There's a spark of newness. And to me, that's like the seed growing in that darkness. You know, we don't have to understand everything to still be excited about that blossom that's coming forward. We don't have to know the mechanics of everything. That's kind of how I'm looking at this. Mercury going into Aquarius.
Well, and I get excited about, because, you know, Aquarius is also a thinker, and I get excited because it's new age thought. It's future thought and everything. So I get excited when we go into that. It's like, get back to I hear the chorus of "This is the dawning of the age." Like all these little ways it gets peppered in. And this feels like one of those small ways that's being put on our plate.
I love that. Yeah, really good visuals. And you're bringing the music in,
yes.
Which is, you know.
You know the music and you relate to the music.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that's over a weekend. And then the first week of January is the 3rd through the 9th, and Jupiter will square the North Node. That's when we're having major twists of fate. So you're like, is it okay to commit or not? I think so. I just feel like it's like a big plot twist.
But should we wait for that though, Tiffany? So we shouldn't maybe commit right on the 1st or 2nd. Should we wait and let these plot twists play out?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay. Let the plot twist play out, get to the end of February. But I just think just be inspired is really, you know, get excited. Now, I tell people sometimes you have to drive over or fly over the Bermuda Triangle on Friday 13th at midnight, right? Like sometimes you make your commitments during bad timing. But it might not be bad timing for you. So knowing your chart is really helpful. We're just looking at the weather. You might have a better umbrella than I have. So that week we've got Jupiter squaring in the North Node. We've got Venus sextiling Neptune, and we've got the Sun conjunct Venus. To me, that is such a blessing week. And I don't care if you are confused or if you don't know the mechanics. It's still like, it's so sweet. It feels like love is in the air. And you know what I mean? It feels like there's just this like homecoming and just being at peace with the people that your chosen family, you know, or your blood family, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the first week. Feels good. The next week, January 10th through 16th, what's going on is a little bit different. So Mars is going to square Neptune, and then Mercury will retrograde in Aquarius and then back up into Capricorn. So we're looking at what has changed over time, and we're being aware of accidents and things that once looked too good to be true. You know what I mean? That Mars square Neptune feels very invasive. It feels very Neptune. Whenever Neptune has like a good aspect, it's like the best thing in the world. It's like heaven on earth, right? But when Neptune has a bad aspect, it feels very toxic to me. All right. And so
foggy and like anything can happen. It's like you don't even know which way to turn or what's real or what to grab.
And like just walking into a room that has mold, you know, you're like, why do I have a headache all of a sudden?
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like that thing of like, you don't know, you can't, it's like, not only is it, because there's the bad you can somewhat control, and there's the bad you know about but can't control, and then there's bad you don't know about and can't control.
Right.
And that's the worst, right? I wonder if you can hear my little scratchy puppies over here. I'll bring him in later in case people are hearing all this scratching. It's just my little Bodie. I'll bring him in at the end to say hello.
Oh, good. Okay.
So the
Well,
dates for that are the dates for that.
Mars squares Neptune on January 11th. Mars is tricky. You can feel Mars transits early, so it's hard to say exactly. But that's the exact day. And, Neptune will be in Pisces, okay? So poisons, toxins, deception, confusion, that type of a thing. Danger on the water. I have Mars and Neptune in my first house in Sagittarius, and this is great for spiritual vision, right? Mars, you can really just energize by Neptune, yoga, philosophy, music, right? But then when they square each other, that's when it can be. My point in sharing that was I also did water sports. So Mars and Neptune, I did this whole competitive water sports thing during college.
Mhm.
And those to me, when they're squared, reminds me of danger around the waterways. And
Right.
so, do you have a filter for your city water, right? Like, do you have, like, those are the type of things that I'm like,
Yeah,
is
and
there a leak in the
is your
lake?
pool guarded if you have a pool, or yeah,
Right.
have the safety
Yeah.
items in your boat if you own a boat? Do you have, yeah, any of it? It could go.
Neptune rules oil. So are there some oil spills that we don't know about, right? That are hidden from us that maybe come up later in the year. So just being careful around water in general,
Okay.
being really savvy and being prepared.
On the 11th or beyond that?
Uh, Leading up to the 11th, and it'll release.
Okay.
So, a couple days before 9/10, it's hard to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Mars
Because
is
it's
early. And
Neptune.
Neptune confuses.
Mhm.
The 14th, January 14th, is when Mercury retrogrades.
So
Of
our
course,
first retrograde of the year, January 14th, guys, keep that in mind.
and in Aquarius, right? So like re-examining our groups, where we stand. Are there circles or collectives or social media groups or anything that you want to join that would be beneficial to you? Are there some that, how you just like collect them for a while and they just, some of them don't resonate anymore? Is it time to kind of clean house in some of those? Do you need to unsubscribe from some stuff that's not very inspiring anymore, metaphorically and in the real world?
Mhm.
So those are some of the things, like the structures that you could be kind of considering around that time, just cleaning house a little bit. The next week is exciting too. So now we're on January 17th through 23rd. We're into that third week, and we've got on the 17th where there's a full moon at 27 degrees of Cancer. And so this is about loving, feeling good at home. This is about family and intuition and emotional intelligence. And so, the full moon, right, this time of closure and completion, Cancer, that feeling of home that we're going to carry with us all year because of the 6 universal numerology,
Right.
right? I just think it's like, to me, it looks like there are some full moons that look crazy and chaotic, and the emergency room and the bars are going to be full and all that stuff. This is not one of those. You know what
Yeah,
I
whenever I
mean?
even hear full moon in Cancer, because the Cancer is so moon-like. It's water and mother, and
Yes.
so just such a fit. And so it's just when it's a full moon in Cancer, and it feels
Right.
sweet, feels healing. That Cancer energy of me, that love healing, the mother.
And that nesting,
Yeah.
that coziness, how do you say that word? It's HYGEE. Um,
No
um,
idea.
like this whole cozy movement thing going on. But the idea there is that, like, I know that probably your home is perfect, you watching, that you've got everything organized, but there's somebody else out there that might need to do a little clean out of the fridge, or organization of the pantry, or update of the cookbooks. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's something you can do to feel like, oh, fresh and clean, and light a candle and have the floor washed in your favorite essential oil, and do a little cinnamon dust on your door. And you know what I mean? Like, there's
Okay, what
something.
is the thing that what I get right away as you're talking is like, what is the thing you haven't splurged on that's small that would make all the difference? Like just having, I recently got a little portable hot tub outside, like a portable,
Yes.
just because my tub is so small here. And I just so enjoy it. And but sometimes it can be a new pillow.
Mhm.
Oh, the feeling of a new pillow, and you realize, oh, how long was I waiting to buy the new pillow? The other one wasn't exactly how I wanted it. So like these cozy choices, these choices that really make it fall into, feel really good right now.
Yes. Yeah. That's a beautiful way to look at it. And in carrying that theme, on the 18th, the next day, Uranus will go direct in Taurus. Okay. So it's been retrograde for a while. Um, and that's when the nodes shift too. So I feel like, okay, yeah, we had some Mars, Neptune, screwy stuff, but really the rest of it looks pretty good. So here we are on the 18th, 17th full moon in Cancer, 18th Uranus direct in Taurus, while the nodes shift into Taurus and Scorpio.
And when the nodes shift, I know for me it's crazy energy because I feel the planets so much. Like when especially Mercury shifts, when it goes retrograde, and that I can really feel the day of. When the node shift is much wider and bigger, do we feel it at all usually?
Man, I think that if you're in the Taurus Scorpio line, you will. And if you're not, I mean, maybe. I don't know. For me, I'm personally excited about it because I have so many planets in Scorpio, and the South Node, the tail of the dragon, will be there, releasing, emitting, right? And so if you think about the North Node as the head of the dragon and the South Node as the tail, it's like, what is it that you want to be chewing on, and what is it that you want to be releasing?
Releasing the tail.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, or basically, also, I often heard our sort of our soul lesson that we've already had a lot of, or that we've completed somewhat to a certain degree in the South Node, and the North Node is what we want to learn. I mean, just one more way to put it, or what our soul still needs to digest and embody.
Yes, digestion with the whole dragon theme there. I like it. Right. And right. So when will you exactly feel it? I don't know. It's an 18-month period. I don't think you're going to feel it as much as you'll probably, if you're feeling that things are slow, it's probably because Uranus is going direct as opposed to the nodes shifting. The nodes shifting is a point of fate. It's like a sunrise, it's like, it feels like, oh, good. And since Jupiter was squaring the nodes, that's why I'm saying like this whole month feels very twisted fatey. Taurus is real. And so it's about embracing what's real, embracing what's practical. Taurus rules food and finances. And so lessons around, our value systems and our money and our food and our recipes. But really, Taurus is the bull, right? So it's also about not being stubborn, but persevering. And so it's like just kind of planting the seed. You don't get the fruit the same day, right? So there's lessons in perseverance.
Okay.
And there's the shedding of the skin that's going on in Scorpio. The thing that it's like, okay, if we're focused on financial integrity, if we're focused on a diet that works for our own personal unique system, not one that was sold to us, right? Something that feels good inside our bones, Taurus, our physical sensuality, right? Those are the flavors. And what you would be letting go of, in Sagittarius, it was all of those philosophies. In Scorpio, you're letting go and releasing all of the kind of dark hidden secrets, right? The power plays, the manipulation, the jealousy.
Even the ones you're almost not aware of, the ones that are happening, especially at an unconscious level, right? The dark, the shadow, That's really well put, Tiffany. Thank you for that. Okay, I can feel that now because I like to be able to feel kind of the 18-month movement that's happening.
Yes, yeah. So self-care involves a lot of personal integrity and honesty and being real, right? Like sometimes you're dancing around saying something because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or you want to word it right, or you want to be aware or whatever. Sometimes it's like, just say the thing and let the reaction happen. Just be real.
Be still, accept it, and let it happen around you.
Right? Like, and Taurus, like creature comforts. So again, that feeling of home and nesting, I think is going to be really special for us to embrace. Now, also that week, on a couple days later, the sun will enter Aquarius. So happy birthday to all of our Aquarius friends, January 20th. That it feels like that very friendly, independent, freedom seeking, like you said, futuristic thinking, metaphysical bookstore exploring vibe. So it'll be there through February 18th. So happy birthday to our Aquarius.
Happy birthday.
And that brings us to the end of January. So the last week is January 24th through 31st. There's two, I guess, significant events that week. On the 24th, Mars will enter Capricorn. So a lot of Capricorn energy going on, right? Mercury's retrograde in Capricorn at this point. But the whole, like, we just had the new moon in Capricorn. There's lots of stuff in that part of the sky right now. So it's like, what mountains are you climbing,
Yeah.
And I think that this is interesting because I've recently watched two of the mountaineer and alpineer and alpine mountain climber things on like a Netflix show or something, and they are so inspiring. I'm not, I mean, I am into like thrilling
I'm
sport.
still inspired by Free Solo when I see it a couple years ago, and it still comes up in my psyche.
You know, I mean, these guys and gals are out there just showing us what's possible for our human bodies, right? North Node and Taurus, our physical
With
existence.
nature, if we respect nature, and because there's so much respect when you have to go to these ridiculous heights and in these cold, you just could die at any moment. So you respect nature.
Yeah, right. And the lessons that those people give us, you know, that are of hope and innocence and purity.
Mhm.
You don't have to like go climb mountains, but you can watch the shows and get a nugget.
And you have your own mountains, like you said. What's your mountain, right? Yeah.
Right. What mountain are you climbing?
Mhm.
Um, what let's see is next is that Venus will go direct in Capricorn on January 29th. So we're closing out the month where she's going direct. So we're just noticing that things are still pivoting and changing. We're reconsidering our I think it's a great time to connect with your elders, especially your grandmothers, you know, and if you don't have grandmothers, find a really old herbalist, find the oldest one you can find, you know what I mean? Capricorn is about age and wisdom and understanding things over time. And Venus is that feminine, divine feminine side. And so I have always, even when I was little, I just loved finding like the oldest person in the room because it's like, what have you seen? And for them, there's an honor in being recognized. And for you, there's a patience and like a receptivity. There's a giving and receiving thing going on there.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I'm saying by the end of the month, if you don't have a wise elder that's like in your sign, right? Like I have a older Scorpio female woman that I guarantee you I'm going to be wondering what she's seeing, right? How
Mhm.
is she seeing life? How's she experiencing? What does she have to offer? Can I bring her a tea, right?
Mhm.
And it doesn't always have to be about like, give me some lessons, guys. It can also just be like, is there anybody in your circle that you want to honor? Does somebody need some flowers or a special gift just because? Or do you just remind them how greatly their life has impacted yours, right? Like it's a
Mhm.
really sweet, I think, thing to settle into towards the end of the month.
Oh, that feels really, really sweet. And also, some of their lesson is their presence too. Sitting there in silence, like you said, bringing a tea and being there in silence with them if they don't want to share. Their essence is sharing. Like they've been through it all. Their
Right.
aura is speaking of it.
Yes. Okay, I'm scrolling for my good days and bad days.
Okay, so here we go. What is our and you lately you've been doing more than one, so that's all
I
good.
know, I did that again.
Yeah, and you can do little periods. It's
All right, so our where we want to circle, I'm saying the 5th through the 7th because we've had that spark of newness. We've got the new moon, we've got Venus sextile Neptune, we've got that sun is right in Venus's like aura, right? There's aura sharing going on, aura workshopping going on. I feel like there's so many good opportunities. I could have picked a couple,
Mhm.
but that's the one I circled. So let's look at the 5th through the 7th for your best days. And
Okay.
for your caution days, they are kind of close because really, to me, the only real downside of January is going to be that Mars Neptune square. So having your caution lights on around the 9th through the 11th and knowing there's nothing on the other side of that. It's not real. It was an illusion, right? So just being careful, not tripping, right? Being very cognizant of student drivers, right? Like we're all just kind of bumping around the universe together. So it's not to scare anybody, but those are the days that I would just lay a little bit lower. Um, so you're more aware of things like the food recalls, right? Like there's something to be aware of.
Hmm.
So those are my best and worst days. And I know, do you want to get Bodhi to do
Yeah,
our
okay,
little
Bodhi, and you grab your cards, okay?
okay. Perfect.
Where's your little guy? Where's your little
All right. And I'm using the Golden Tarot deck by Cat Black. As you can see, it's a real loved and worn deck here. And oh, does he have a little toy?
He's kind of
Oh my
waking.
gosh, he's so sweet. He's our spirit animal for 2022.
He's just waking up.
Oh,
Mm.
he's sleepy. What a sweet guy. Mom, oh, his tail's wagging while he's giving you kisses.
Sometimes it wigs.
All right, so for the
Mark's
first
gonna
half,
have us pick a card.
yes.
He's gonna be like, he's gonna give it some Bodhi energy. Come over
All
here.
right. The one that fell out is the King of Swords. Okay.
King of Swords.
All right. So this is your own integrity, your honesty, your clarity with yourself.
Masculine action, right? The sword.
Masculine
And
action.
really, guys, solar plexus, just to bring in a little chakra analogy here, the solar plexus, the middle masculine that goes for it. So, and the king reminds me of the commitment, and more of the king always reminds me more of that Capricorn energy, you know, like that the Capricorn gets at the top of the mountain, or the emperor energy, that kind of just strong masculine energy. Cool.
Totally. I totally agree. And I think there is a lot of integrity when you're being the king, right? Being the king of your own life involves clear vision. And like you were saying about that Capricorn, the king has long-term plans and goals. They're not making rash reactions. They're saying, thank you for that tidbit. Would you like to send me that study? I'd like to consider it. Thank you for sharing what you see. I'm going to take a little time and get back to you on that.
I just want to quote you on all this. You hold this energy super well. So in the first half of the month, we're looking at what you said. We might want to code it in the more cozy, comfortable aspect of it. You want down, sweet pea? There you go. We might want to code it in that, but it is still the sun energy, the Capricorn energy. So there's still that king energy. This is a good time to do have a vision, do take some action and stuff.
And like if you're in a 9-star key, like this is a 6 in that realm of thinking. That is the divine masculine that we all need and want, right?
Yeah.
There are clear borders. There is clarity. There is honesty. There is integrity. And there's a kindness and a leadership aspect to it, right? So just reminding all of us that we are leading our own lives here, right? So cool. Okay.
On the first half, what I'm saying is that's kind of that's a repeat of what you've already been saying, which is be ready, you know, in a relaxed way, like not a push way, but in a relaxed way. This is an okay time to to think about your commitments, sow some actions for the year that, you know, it has that masculine energy that you mentioned in the beginning. So I love that.
Yeah, me too. Okay. And then for the second half, we're just getting clear for all of the chakra boosters, friends and family here. What is it that we need to hear for the second half? The sun came out. So we are having this. I mean, this is just a beautiful reflection of the astrology. The sun is coming out, guys. There might be a few tough conversations. There might be some, you know, bumps on the road around the 9th through the 11th, but the sun's coming out. And, you know, February, if we're giving you a little sneak peek, is really one of the best months of the year, right? Like February, there's this huge window of opportunity. So it's the more we get clear and we take the time to self-study and get real, you know, the better our February is going to go too.
Right. So the whole thing feels like, what did it say? Luck is yes, luck, but always be prepared. It feels like January, prepare for the luck that's potentially there in February. Use this masculine sun energy, solar plexus energy with the third eye wisdom, the 6 of the year, to really get your year off on the right foot. And then February could really have some magic, because the way I got it even in the 2022 forecast was that February has this sort of unknown but really benevolent energy, auspicious.
Yeah, right.
Get ready for luck.
The sun is about making hay while the sun shines, right? It is about taking opportunities. It is about forward momentum. So let's just be still and enjoy these last little drops of the quiet winter, and then be ready for those good opportunities that you put so well. So
yay. Thank you, Tiffany. I feel really good ending with that. Is there anything else to add before we say our goodbyes? I just want to thank everyone for coming, for sure, and being here with us.
Yeah, you know, like I mean, I think that's it. That there are great things coming in Jupiter in February that feel very auspicious, like you said. And so I'm just so glad to be here again. Thank you for having me, Vicki and Bodhi. And we'll hope to see you for the February report too.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Much love.